Welcome to Gishath Park. As far as opening hand goes, we have one mountain and a pretty clunky hand, so let's go on mulligan. That does not sound that enticing. Yeah, we're going to keep on this one. I like that. Get down Avacyn's Pilgrim, and then we can grab a red-green. Well, actually, we'll have to grab a white-green source off a Flooded Strand. Yeah, either way, we'll make that work. We're going to keep on this one. Let's go and put that on the bottom for right now. We'll keep our fingers crossed that we do draw into some sort of land. That way we can get these dinosaurs on the battlefield, or some fast mana. That would work too. But yes, welcome to Gishath Park. I hope you're excited to see some dinosaurs today. Hopefully we get some really fun stuff going with Gishath. And then we're playing against Atraxa, so I think this might be her first time going through the park. So hopefully we show her a really fun time, and that she keeps all of those arms, legs, and wings and tails and stuff inside of the Jeep, because a lot of these dinosaurs can be pretty hungry sometimes. So that also goes to you. You know, if this is your first time in the park, make sure you keep them in the Jeep. These dinosaurs they can get pretty feisty sometimes. So let's go get down Avacyn's Pilgrim, then anything else we'll go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Gishath, Sun's Avatar, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Whenever Gishath deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top part of your library. Put any number of dinosaur cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Playing against Atraxa, Praetors Voice, Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then at the beginning of your end step, Proliferate. All right, so we are drawing into some fetch lands, and that's really good. Let's go to get down Terralian. That was pretty bad. Let's get down Mauler. I know just kind of threw a whole bunch of extra words in there. We might be walking into a counter spell, but if they want to counter this, so be it. We can get down the Mauler, and then hopefully get some pretty good counters on there. And then anything else, we will go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, we did cover both commanders. It is free time. We can talk about Gishath Park. And one of my favorite things about Gishath Park is I always think about, if you haven't seen Jurassic Park, there's a theme song that's a dun 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 dun. Well, there's I'll try to post it in the videos down below, but there's a yeah, we're gonna use that ability all the time. There's a video where they do. This got me laughing thinking about it now. Doing a get down Raging Sword, dealing damage to each other creature. Yeah, I think I like that. We get down, we could get down Lana War Elves. That's going to take care, unfortunately, it's going to take care of Avacyn's Pilgrim. But I really want to get rid of Simic Manipulator. That just doesn't sound like that fun to deal with. Let's go and get down Flooded Strand. Let's go and push in with Mauler first. Maybe they chump block with Manipulator, who knows. We'll go and swing with Mauler, and then we'll, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We can't get that down. No, yeah, because we got down Flooded Strand. Yeah, there we go. Excuse me. No, we can't get that down. We'll have to go for it next turn. So I'll go and swing across for 3, knock our opponent down to 26, and then hopefully we don't want them to gain control of Pilgrim. So, and whenever it attacks, it's going to deal 1 damage to any target. So I guess what we can do is, if we want to, it's going to get the Evolve trigger. They're going to be able to proliferate. That's going to put it down to 2. So either way, they're going to be able to take care of Avacyn. Let's still just go and get down Lana War Elves, because we want to try to ramp as quickly as possible to Gishath. So let's go and do that. Let's go get down Lana War Elves, and then anything else. No, we're going to go ahead and then pass the turn to our opponent. So that way, at least they do grab one of our mana dorks. Maybe we get lucky with some fast mana, and we can start working towards Gishath. But yeah, so that video. So they do the Jurassic Park theme, but they also do the, they do it on a recorder, which is like one of those flutes, those plastic flutes you use in elementary school. And so, I'll post it down in the comments below, but that's one of those, I don't know, it just always makes you laugh every time I see the video, and it's hard not to think about it whenever we go to record Gishath. Yes, we're going to use that ability, get that +1 counter on Mauler that we'll put down a Atraxa, get the Evolve trigger, and then also they're going to be able to proliferate. So we'll see if they want to grab one of these mana dorks. They can certainly go for that. They'll have to remove those counters from it, but I can definitely see our opponent going for that, because that seems like a pretty good play to go for, so... All right, no swinging from Simic Manipulator. Would have been nice, though. And we'll go for that Flooded Strand crack after they go for the Proliferate. Okay, so they will gain control of Avacyn's Pilgrim. Let's go and tap down Avacyn's Pilgrim. And then let's go and crack Flooded Strand to grab one of our lands out of here. We want to keep up with, that's going to be one of our other white source. We need to definitely go and grab Scattered Groves. It's going to come into play tapped, and then they'll gain control of Avacyn, which will enter the battlefield tapped. Okay, draw into Snapping Snailback. Let's go to get down Marsh Flats. Do you want to go and push in with Mauler? Yeah, let's go and do that. If they want to trade with the Atraxa, they can certainly go for that. So let's go and swing it with Mauler. Going to put opponent down to 22. And let's go and crack Marsh Flats, and let's go and get down Raging Swordtooth, because what that's going to do is it's going to take care of pretty much all the creatures on the battlefield. I'm going to be okay with that, or at least all the mana dorks. So we're going to get down Plateau. Let's go and tap down for Raging Swordtooth. Sorry, poor Lano War Elves. That's one of those... we have a lot of mana dorks in here, and there's some collateral damage on these enter the battlefield damage triggers, but it is unfortunate, but that's Gishath Park for you. Okay, it's going to take care of the 2 mana dorks. Our opponent will not be able to take advantage of that, and then we'll go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, we're not really in that good of a position right now. We are looking at Gishath at 8 total mana to get him down, or him or her. I'm pretty sure it's a guy, but don't want to assume. But yeah, we're only sitting at 4 mana right now. This is definitely one of those decks that if we can't get Gishath going, like what are we doing? This is a Naya ramp deck. You know, we have a lot of artifacts in here. We have a lot of stuff like Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, and it's really just kind of like a Naya, just kind of ramp deck and get down a bunch of creatures and start going from there. So hopefully we can get some sort of either land drop going for ourselves or get down. Yes, we're going to use that ability. And this is what I love, Mauler. Look at that. Looking at a 5/5, we're going to be able to outpace Atraxa. Now, that does put it to where Simic Manipulator might be able to gain control of Raging Swordtooth. But at least at this point right now, we've got 2 5/5s that we can really kind of start putting some pressure on our opponent. So, and then we got Atraxa swinging in for 4. It's going to knock us down to 24. And that, unfortunately, that will kind of negate some of the dinosaur damage that we're doing. But another good thing that we could draw into would be Urza's Incubator. That's going to give us a really good reduced cost off some of our dinosaurs. But let's see what we draw into. Draw into Forest. That's good. Make the land drop. It's going to get that down. And then that's whenever it attacks, flash, whenever it's dealt damage, put a +1 counter on it. Let's go and push in for 2 5/5s. And we'll see if our opponent's going to offer up any blocks. We are looking at, if they get the Evolve trigger, there will be at least a 4/5 next turn, so at least we're going to be able to get out from underneath a Simic Manipulator trigger. And then anything else, yeah, we're just going to go and leave that Snapping Snail back. That way it can kind of jump out of the water and scare whatever sort of creature is going to come across. Maybe they get frisky and send Simic Manipulator and Captain Sisay across or something like that. We can flash in Snail. That's one of my favorite times in Magic, is whenever you get to flash in like some big dumb creature that's just like, huh. You didn't play around Snapping Snailback? Okay, there you go. But yeah, like I mentioned, we can get some of those dinosaurs down. Then hopefully, we have some other big creatures in here too. Stuff like Zeltalpa really kind of helps establish some sort of game plan for your opponent. It's really hard for them to deal with Zeltalpa. That double strike and just has such a big body on it. All right, so we got Atraxa swinging across for 4. That's going to be 8 total commander damage and putting us down to 20. So we'll see what they're going to get down. They do get down Misty, and then they do have 4 cards left in their hands. All right, opponent's going to go for Prime Time. Enters the battlefield or attacks, search lobby for 2 land cards. All right. Yeah, because they're going to come into play tapped either way, and we'll get that +1 counter. I guess we still need to go and flash and Snapping Snail back, because not really much else they can do. Yeah, and it's a 4. Actually, let's wait on that, because they'll get that additional +1 counter on it. Yes, we're going to use that ability. It's going to make it a 6/6 and then a 5/5. Because actually, if we flash in Snapping Snail back, it's going to be a very good thing for them to go for. And actually, now that I think about it, with Prime Time, that's going to be an Evolve trigger. That's going to be a 4/5, and that's going to be a 5/6. So it's actually going to turn it online to where they can grab Raging Swordtooth. So if they do end up going for that grab before they pass the turn, we'll go for Snapping Snail back. That way we at least have some sort of creature on the battlefield. But if you're keeping a score at home, it doesn't look too good. We'll see what we draw into, and let's see what sort of lands they search up off of Prime Time. Okay, it looks like they got Maze of Ith and then Governey Township off of that. And another thing to notice is that if you're ever playing online and your opponent's got an all foiled out deck, hey, heads up. Gotta watch out for that. Not that it's a bad thing. You know, I always appreciate seeing a completely foiled out deck, but it's one of those that... yeah, just kind of, you know you're in store for something. All right, so they're going to go for the Proliferate on Simic Manipulator. Let's see if they're going to end up going for that activation. I think either way, we're still going to go and flash and Snapping Snail back now that I think about it, because we need to have some creatures on the battlefield. If we're playing to our outs and getting as many creatures on the battlefield as possible, it'll help us kind of get some good stuff going. Okay, so we draw to Heroic Intervention. Well, we can push in. Okay, that's going to be 10 coming back on the back end, 17, so we're not dead to a complete swinging on the back. And that's going to have us come swinging in for 15. Yeah, why not? Let's go on. We can go and push it on this one. That's going to give us indestructible. We'll see how they want to block on this one. And then the cool thing about this is that even if they do go for the manipulator trigger before we swing in an attack, we can fire off this heroic intervention to kind of chump block on that. Well, not chump block it, but at least kind of counteract that activation. Well, we're going to make our opponent fight for their meal on this one. All right, they're going to try to gain control of Raging Swordtooth. Not on my watch, buddy. We're going to protect this Raging Swordtooth. It reminds me of the dinosaur from Jurassic Park that spits the stuff at the guy with the the Barbasol can. All right. But it said nice, and it's like, hey, we just drew it. Just got lucky. All right, so it's going to push in with this one. It's going to be Mauler, it's Raging, and then Snapping Snailback. Like I mentioned, that will be 15 coming across. Put our opponent down to 4. But with the Atraxa coming across with that lifelink, it's going to be pretty hard for us to kind of bounce back from that. Thankfully, with the Simic Manipulator, they had to remove those counters from it, so at least kind of gives us an option of keeping our stuff on the battlefield. So we'll kind of see what they're going to go for. Oh, yeah, then like I mentioned, our opponent can still chump block on some of this stuff if they wanted to. Now, unfortunately, we only have Raging Regisar in the hand, so there's not really much else we can do outside of that. So, and let's see what they're going to search up on Captain Sisay. Okay, opponents are going to end up searching Vraska the Unseen. Let's go and get that pulled up. Okay, that's going to be the 5-mana Vraska, so that'll definitely be interesting. So they can get down Vraska, go for that -3 ability, destroy target non-land permanent. They will be able to take care of some of our dinosaurs, and then with Primeval coming across, yeah, either way, we'll kind of see what's going on, because if they go for the +1, that's going to put it up to 6. They proliferate, that's going to put it up to 7. They'll be online for those assassin tokens pretty quick, and it'll also kind of keep us in a position to where maybe we don't really want to swing in, depending on what sort of creatures they do leave out. So let's see what they do end up getting down. Okay, opponents will end up tapping down for Vraska. Let's go and cross that out. And they'll give us an additional +1. Yes, we're going to use that ability. And it would be nice if Mauler had some sort of... I know that would be... it is 3 mana, but if it has some sort of deal damage equal to its power clause on it, I think that'd make me really like that. Like it a lot. I end up with an 8/8 Mauler at this point right now. And that does leave Maze of Ith online for them to untap something to kind of untap our combat steps. So we're going to need something pretty good to get out from what's kind of laid out before us at this point right now. Okay, opponent will end up going for Vraska activation for -3, taking care of Mauler. Okay, got Atraxa swinging across for 4. That will put us down to 16. It's going to be 12 total commander damage and put our opponent back up to 13. About the only thing that we can really do something on. That's going to be our opponent not blocking, and somehow we draw into a double strike spell to give one of our creatures double strike, and that's going to be 2 double blocks, but the Miri's Guile. Okay, so they swing in on the back end. We're not dead, but it's not looking good. Because we're looking at Vraska for the -3. It's going to take care of Snapping Snailback. That's just going to leave a 5/5 with Trample. With Raging Swordtooth, we swing into a board state that's just not that good. We're going to have Primetime chump block on one of them. And if our opponent wants to just really kind of establish something, go for Atraxa chump blocking on another one too. Yeah, this is not the best, but we're going to get down Miri's Guile. We're going to get down Raging. Yeah, we're going to get down Raging. It's better than nothing, so let's go and get that down. Don't want to just scoop. Who knows? Maybe we draw into something that's just absolutely insane. So we get down Raging, and then anything else. Yeah, I don't really want to swing into that. We're going to get picked apart by Vraska. They just chump block with Primetime. Snapping Snailback is maybe going to be able to get in for 4 on a Vraska if we really want to put some pressure. Then they're still going to have Maze of Ith 2 activation. Yeah, let's just go and pass the turn at this point right now. We'll see what our opponent's got, but it's not looking so hot. Looks like the front tires on the Jurassic Park Jeep, or the Gishath Park Jeep, is very slowly running out of air. Opponent's going to go for a Captain Sisay activation. Let's see if they search up. Opponent's going to go for Vincer. So they get down Vincer, exile target permanent, you own, return to the battlefield, and the creatures can't be blocked this turn. So if they do that, I'm going for creatures can't be blocked, that's going to be 10. That will be 14, putting us down to 2. Then they go for Vraska, which is not really going to do much. So they almost actually... Well, they have enough mana to go for that. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I was about to say they don't have enough mana to go for a Governey Township activation and Vincer, but... Let's say they do end up going for Vraska, -3, destroy a creature, they get down Vincer, make them unblockable, or simply just putting a few extra +1 counters on their creatures to swing across. Yeah, we'll see how they want to do this, but either way, it's not going to be looking that good for us. Okay, opponent's actually going to plus up on Vraska, making it to where if we do swing in, they will destroy all of our creatures. Okay, opponent's going to go for Governing Township activation, put a +1 counter on each creature that you control. And that actually really start working out well with Manipulator, because they can start to go for that proliferate too with the Atraxa. It's going to make Vincent just a little bit smaller, and let's see how they want to swing in. Either way, swinging in with the Atraxa is going to be more than enough to kind of... it's going to put us down to 11. That will be 17 total commander damage. So essentially, we're going to be dead to commander damage the following turn. So, all right, we've got Atraxa swinging in. It's going to knock us down to 11, and that will be 17 total commander damage. And that does leave Maze of Ith online. So even if we do somehow get into Gishath, it's going to be really hard for us to do anything. But we'll see what we draw into. And we look at the top 3 cards of our library. We actually have no way to shuffle it up. But yes, it's also good to look at the top 3. That's going to be Cultivate. Yeah, there we go. Good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed it. It's always nice to kind of play against an Atraxa kind of, creature-based deck. It's always nice. I always enjoy these particular matches, and you definitely see how powerful Atraxa can be. She's really good in a Planeswalker shell, but at the same time, simply interacting with stuff like Primetime, Birds of Paradise, interacts really well with Simic Manipulator, but, turning Birds of Paradise into a 4/5 creature, in addition to something like Governing Township, that's some good magic right there. So, I always enjoy playing against Atraxa creature-based deck. Good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed your time through Jurassic Park, Gishath Park, even though we got eaten, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.